All right, Wasted World of Sports, ahoy! How is everybody doing this Sunday? I think it's Sunday. I hope it's Sunday. Otherwise, I'm going to rock up at work tomorrow, and it's going to be awkward. Welcome along, anyone. Welcome along, anyways, everyone. Okay, it's been a big weekend. All right, I'm not with it yet. I've only been up for an hour or so. I haven't quite worked into the day yet. Welcome along, though, for this big clash here. Melbourne Storm versus the Cronulla Sharks. Absolutely, still welcome to anyone anyway. It's all good. Anyone, anywhere, wherever you may be, welcome. So let's, first of all, to answer the question, I don't believe Vopsy is here just yet, but cheeky bugger that he is has a tendency to just be lurking. Has a tendency to just lurk around, and we don't really know he's here. Tyrese Richmond, ahoy there, welcome along. Oh, should I get my, I should get my jersey back up in the background, huh? Or I'll just wear it like this. So firstly, let's check out the current leaderboard. Vopsy, he's back. He's back on top. He's looking to make it a three-peat. He's only just there, though. Shack of Hearts and James breathing right down his neck. The chase. The chase is on. But yeah, this is one I'm particularly happy with. The old school New South Wales Rugby League. New South Wales Rugby League Reebok sponsored Cronulla Sharks jersey. Worn by the likes, I want to say this was worn, not this very particular one, but that style of jersey and that jersey sponsor, I believe, worn by the likes of Mitch Healy, David Peachy, Paul Green even, Denny Lee, I believe was another one. Les Davidson, maybe even. That might have been after Les Davidson's time. But anyway, Andrew Eddinghausen, UFC OnlyFans, says, can you explain why Manly players, although in New South Wales, play for Queensland? Because they're from Queensland. You see, the rules about Origin changed. Because I've said this before. Everyone remembers, I've had the conversation. State of Origin was created for Queensland Rugby League. It was a concept created to give greater exposure to Queensland Rugby League when it was a New South Wales-based competition. That's the whole reason for its inception. But what was happening was the original eligibility for Origin was wherever the club was based that you play for, that's who you qualified for. So under that system, for example, Adam Reynolds would be eligible to play for Queensland. Daly Cherry Evans would be eligible for New South Wales. But what happened was Queensland, all their best players were going to the more, not professional, it wasn't professional at the time, but all Queensland's best players were going to the New South Wales clubs because there was greater competition, better opportunities for them and their families. So Queensland was still in a predicament of all our best players are playing for New South Wales. This really should be a contest from where you play juniors, where you were born, that sort of thing. So the eligibility was changed so that all the Queensland players that were playing in New South Wales clubs could be eligible for the Queensland team. And lo and behold, Queensland started winning when they had all their best players available to them. Funny that. Heel fries, ahoy there, mate. If you're from South Australia, WA, or Northern Territory, or Victoria, then I'm afraid you're just balls out of luck. Origin is not for you until such a time as as rugby league expands to those states, which it won't. So I'm afraid you're stuck. James says, what should I drink today? I'll actually, this is a really nice drop. Actually, it's cheap as well. You can't see what it is. Jacob's Creek Chardonnay. Sparkling. Nice to wake up to as I said, I've only been up for, I only got out of bed, half an hour ago? I'm still not with it yet. I'm still trying to process this whole being up and about on a Sunday thing. This early. Early start for this game. I'm disappointed. As we have a look at the live NRL ladder now, we've had a look at our Wasted World of Sports ladder. The live NRL ladder, the Penrith Panthers, as you would expect, out there on top. Brisbane and Souths right behind them. The Sharks somehow are in 4th spot. I don't quite understand how they're there. The Warriors, we must applaud the Warriors and the effort that they're putting in this season. They're in 5th spot right now. That could change after today because I do believe Melbourne Storm will leapfrog the Warriors, pushing them back down to 6th. But still, what an effort for the Warriors so far, over halfway through the season, or just on halfway through the season, and sitting there in the top 5, potentially the top 6 after today, is still a mighty impressive effort there from the Warriors. Oh, God, excuse me. That was incredibly unprofessional. Will says, who was the ball-playing second rower for Cronulla in the 80s with the messed-up nose? Wait, not Gavin Miller. I've got a Gavin Miller story, actually. Some of you might have heard this before. But my dad used to take me down to the Tweed Heads. They were the Gold Coast Giants at the time. The Gold Coast Giants. Or Tweed Heads Giants, even. I don't think they even had the label Gold Coast. They were the Tweed Heads Giants at the time. Tweed Heads Giants. Gavin Miller was the captain as well, Will. And my dad used to take me down for the games because I refused to go to Lang Park. Because even all the way back then, the Sharks sucked at Lang Park / Suncorp Stadium. I don't recall ever. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. They used to lose a fair bit down at the Tweed as well. For some reason. But not the point. Not the point. They did win this occasion. I do remember. But so my cousin and I, it was back when you were allowed to run out onto the ground after the games. Like, they actually encouraged it. All the kids at around the 77th, 78th minute mark would just swarm down from the seats and line up around the fence. And as soon as that full-time siren went and the referee blew his whistle, we'd all just jump over the fence and go charging out into the middle. And you pat the players on the back. Well, let me tell you, I only ever did that once. Because you can imagine, after 80 minutes of footy, so here's little Dan Intox. He's gone charging out there. He's trying to keep up with his much older cousin. Couldn't keep up with him. So I made a beeline elsewhere. I believe he was running over towards Mark McGaw and Andrew Eddinghausen and that lot. All I could hope to keep up with was the backs. So I've gone over and there's Gavin Miller, and I've gone to pat him on the back. Pat. Just this great big gob of sweat spurts out from his shoulder pads all over me, and I've gone, disgusting. I've never run onto the field and patted players on the back after a game of footy ever again. It was a very traumatizing experience. Gavin Miller's shoulder pad sweat squirting out onto my face. Truly disturbing story. Anyway, who is going to be the New South Wales halfback? Jeez. Let's kind of wait until Monday afternoon and see who's still available, because my goodness, the Blues are dropping like flies, aren't they? The Blues squad is being decimated over the course of this past weekend. Yes, James, but they played juniors. It's all about, I think it's before 15. Because let's not forget that one of the greatest ever New South Wales born players, ever, was part of a Queensland dynasty. Greg Inglis. Greg Inglis is from New South Wales. Let's not forget that. So yes, it's not necessarily about where you're born. Necessarily, if you've played a if you've played most of your juniors with a particular state, then that also counts. But anyways, this game coming up here, Melbourne Storm versus the Cronulla Sharks. I said last week, after that Storm Cowboys game, I do not want to be the team coming up against a hurting and rebounding Melbourne Storm team. And of course, that just so happens to be my team. I have a horrible feeling the Sharks, who struggle to beat the Storm at the best of times, are really going to struggle here today. I have not been happy with how the Sharks have been playing. They've been getting a lot of credit from the so-called experts on Fox Sports and whatnot. I honestly don't know what they're seeing that I'm not. And I understand, obviously, it's my team, so I'm a lot more harsh than the general person. I'm a very hard taskmaster. I'm a hard man to please when it comes to my own team. So I get it. But still, I honestly don't believe the Sharks have not shown me anything so far this season to suggest that they're going to be any sort of threat. And as a matter of fact, I really have them struggling to hold on to a top 8 position. Everything is so close this year. Apart from the Panthers at the top. You've got the Panthers and then you've got Daylight. Panthers, then Daylight. Then your Rabbitohs, as much as it pains me to say. Although the Rabbitohs, they got a huge wake-up call this weekend against St. George, didn't they? But yes, I'm afraid at the moment it's the Panthers first, Daylight second, and then there's just a huge bunch of teams that could be rounding out that top 8. You're just waiting for some wheels to fall off, waiting for some Warrior wheels to fall off. They haven't yet. The Dolphins may have hit their wall, but we'll see. Never underestimate a Wayne Bennett coached team, as I always say. Oops. Okay, there we go. 4-leg multi here. Anytime try scorers. Mulatalo, Meaney, Kennedy, and Munster. And we've also got both teams to score at least one try in each half. So I've got a couple of bets on the run here today. There is Sofa Talakai somehow retaining his spot. J. Joe, ahoy there, mate. Did I make the team, coach? As the Sharks get us underway, Melbourne wearing the white strip. The white strip for the home team, taking their alternate jersey. It's not very often you see that. One of the all-time classic grand finals, in my opinion, obviously because my team won, but 2016. I'll tell you what, though, for anybody who watched that game, the 2016 grand final, for anybody who watched that game, Melbourne were one pass away from victory. James says, look out for the Eels. I think they are very dark horses coming from the back half of the season, and it normally starts now around Origin. Yep, look, I've got the Eels in the top 8, if not the top 4, James. Don't you worry about that. The Eels are certainly not done this season, but Bulldogs, Will Kennedy with a great kick return. Almost gets through. He's just tripped over. Yeah, I certainly haven't counted out the Eels just yet, James. They're still well and truly in this. So are the Roosters. Ahmed, ahoy there, mate. How are you doing? Ranjo473 says, no Olam this round. Oh, well, there you go. That's a big out for the Storm as the Sharks keep it alive. Through Dale Finucane. Oh, yeah, look at that. Bronson Garlick, Grant Anderson, Justin Olam, and Aaron Penne all out for the Storm. Fifth and last, Hines, 30 out, puts it high into the corner. No pressure on the kick chase, and this has been the problem for the Sharks for the past 3 or 4 years. The fifth tackle options, the kick was decent enough, but there was absolutely no chase to speak of. There was no pressure at all on the kick receipt. You've got to wonder what Shane Flanagan thinks. Shane Flanagan is there in the commentary box today. The statistical go-to man, our Shack of Hearts, if you will. Shane Flanagan, of course, coaching the Sharks to their only premiership, which we were just talking about in 2016. You've got to wonder if he just sits there shaking his head going, the places I could have taken this team were it not for an unfortunate little scandal that got me suspended. Ahmed says, who is winning, Manly or Eels? What, out of a match between the two of them? Where's it being played? I would go for Parramatta at home. I would go for Manly at home. Penalty to the Storm here. Oh, next week. Where is it? Is it at Four Pines or is it at... I stand by that prediction. The home team will likely win that game. Farsi, ahoy, mate. Oh, keeping the hands free there. Munster, dangerous run as always. They're 10 out here, the Storm. It could be a long old day here for the Sharks. Welch swivels, can't get over the line. Harry Grant doesn't know which way to go. They go to the right. Hughes steps back inside, looking for the offload. They're getting the hands free easily here, the Storm. Punishing the Sharks. Grant grubbers into the end goal. It's off the post, and it's back for a try. Harry Grant grubber kicks into the post. Nobody's able to defend that, and Kama Chameleon picks it up and dives over, and what a start for the Melbourne Storm. I said it was going to be a long old day for the Sharks, and it started inside the first 4 minutes. Harry Grant, the kick into the upright. Kama Chameleon untouched. 4 points to nil, right under the sticks, about to be 6-0. What a kick. Will Kennedy and Nico Hines both had that kick covered, expecting it to keep on travelling through into the end goal. It rebounds off the post. A dream start here for the Storm. And a long, long afternoon incoming here for... Oh, he's lost the ball, Kama Chameleon. Oh, don't tell me he's dropped the ball over the line. Try confirmed. Hang on. Try's been confirmed. Yes, try has been confirmed. It looked like he lost it from that camera angle. Try confirmed. Oh, that front-on angle did not... that did not look very convincing, that camera angle. And there's the first try for Melbourne. Now we need one from the Sharks. $1.90, this one's paying. UFC. It's a special on... I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a special on... PointsBet. It's an exclusive market on PointsBet. Exclusive market. And they've got a few of them. They've got AFL as well. Look, there's one for tomorrow. Eels versus Bulldogs. Maximum stake is $50. That's the only limitation to these bets. Maximum stake, $50 as the Sharks get us back underway. And Melbourne, a dream start for them. Both teams to score 1+ tries each half. Eels versus Bulldogs, $1.90. I'll probably have a go at that one too. Seems like a game where maybe the Bulldogs will be held to 0 if anybody is. Michelle, ahoy! Am I mad? I tipped the Storm. I tipped the Storm to win quite convincingly. The Sharks never beat the Storm unless it's in a grand final. Look, I thought it was a knock-on. That front-on angle, it really looked like he lost it as the Storm just stampede over the halfway line, 64 metres on the back of points. And now the pressure on the kick chase. Look at the difference. The pressure on the kick chase. That's what the Sharks don't do on fifth tackle options. They don't put pressure on. They get away with it, though, the Sharks. They come away with the ball, and they survive. But the difference that a good quality kick chase makes. And now a little bit too anxious here, the Storm, up inside the 10. Oh, pizza and a ginger beer for lunch. Well, I'm not so much a fan of the ginger beer, but I can definitely get on board for the pizza. I've been craving pizza since Origin night. It was so bad. I should not. Well, I mean, I ordered it for Lethal Lee, the Intoxi driver, and my dad. It wasn't really for my fat ass to consume, but I did have a few slices, and now I'm craving pizza. Anyway, it is what it is. Blind side, go the Sharks. Brayley to Hines. Linking up with Wilton. Nothing really doing there, but on the back of that penalty, they're in attacking range. Hines sends Hunt on the inside. They're just 10 out from the line. Tackle 4. Right-hand side play. Moylan inside, short ball to Finucane, and he's chopped down in a great tackle. Karma Chameleon, the try scorer. Fifth and last, Hines, headless. They've got numbers out to the left. Just go through the hands, you great big goof. Moylan's put the kick in. And it's been tapped back by Mulatalo to Teague Wilton, and they've created a miracle here, a minor miracle. Teague Wilton with the try. They had no right to score that. Absolutely no right to score this. It was a complete and total mess. They had 3-on-2 overlap. Yes, Jerome Hughes was covering across. He was sliding across at the back there. But through the hands was surely the right option there. Moylan puts the kick in. Mulatalo has made chicken salad out of this. Flicks it back to Teague Wilton. And I'm not convinced that Teague Wilton's grounded that either. But if the Storm try was awarded, there's no reason to take this one off the Sharks. And there we go. Look, both teams have scored a try in the first half. That's half a tick each. We're on over there at the moment. Oh, a pizza made on naan bread. I like it. Cheesy naan bread. Well, I mean, it's pizza, so you would hope there's cheese on it somewhere, but cheese on the... This is what I'm imagining. Cheesy naan bread. Your typical cheesy naan bread. So you've got cheese on the bottom layer as well as your typical pizza toppings on top. Hence the name Toppings. Thank you. I should start my own cooking show. Bleeding Obvious Cooking with Dan and Tox. They're called Toppings because they go on the top. Conversion successful. 6 points all in this one. The Sharks hanging in. I dare say that was a little bit of a miracle try. They had no right to score that, but to be fair, Melbourne had no right to score their first one either. But it's good news for my bet. 6 points all. Approaching the end of the first 10-minute sector of this game. Oh, we got trouble in back play for one of the Storm players. as Finucane takes the hit up. And another penalty here. The Storm again. Oh, Cameron Munster's blowing up here. He's not happy. Cameron Munster looks like someone's just stolen his little Coke baggie. He's furious. But I wonder what that penalty was for. Oh, this is a replay of the injury, not the penalty. And that was an attempted tackle from Katoa on Big Hamlin ULA, and Katoa came off second best. How good was the Broncos game yesterday? Jeez, I don't think we did have this convo. I wouldn't have thought that Broncos fans would be overly satisfied, though, with their performance. In fairness, the Knights really did step up and played well above themselves. But, yeah, jeez. Talk about getting away with murder. The Broncos, the great escape. But, yeah, surely Kevy Walters and the fans, whilst the excitement of the last minute try for the victory would be exhilarating, I'm sure. Surely you look over the whole performance and go, shit, we're in a bit of trouble here if this is how we play week in, week out. That said, every team's entitled to an off week. They all have them. And here is a penalty for the Sharks. Big Nelson can't believe it. They're going to take the 2 here, the Sharks, to go ahead. They're thinking captain's challenge. Do they have time for a captain's challenge? I wouldn't suggest taking the captain's challenge. Harry Grant's got his hands all over that one. Harry Grant's that cheeky little kid who's been told no cookies before dinner, and he's having a sneaky little reach around the back into the cookie jar. So yes, I dare say the Storm would have lost that challenge. Probably a good thing for them that there was no time allowed to make the challenge. My God, that's a weird looking stadium. It's very space age. Penalty to the Sharks though, and Hines kicking at 84% this season. From right in front. Oh, it's off the upright. Oh, he's goofed it up. And now a high shot. A high shot from Finucane has taken out Munster. Come on, Queensland needs some injuries. What a disaster of a kick from Nico Hines. And then Munster's had his head taken off by Dale Finucane. We do need some Queensland injuries. Oh, seriously, the amount of injuries to the Blues squad. They're going to have no players left in New South Wales by the end of this weekend. Penalty to the Storm. No complaints about that one, I can't help but notice. Just to answer Michelle's question from earlier. Harry Grant out of dummy half. Very quick scamper away, and they're back in Sharks territory. It should be 8 points to 6 Sharks with Sharks ball. Now Munster running across, looking for some slower forwards. Teague Wilton wraps him up though. Great tackle. Blind side they go. They've got the numbers out to the right, but Big Nelson steps back inside. Tackle 5, 20 out from the line here. The Storm, they're marching upfield at will. Big kick, Katoa moves forward and takes it. Very little pressure on the kick chase, but he's done well regardless. Katoa was not an easy take. But the Storm, they are just decimating the Sharks in the territory battle here. Tackle 4, Sharks have gone nowhere fast in response. Only up to the 30-metre line now, 5th and last. Finucane driven backwards in post-contact. How important will those 2 points be at the end of the game? And look, Nicho Hines probably wouldn't be doing the goal kicking at Origin, but once again, he's not exactly stamping his authority on selection, is he? So far in this game. Both teams completing at 100% early in the contest. But it's Melbourne with possession and territory. That's where they're eking out a slight advantage everywhere but the scoreboard at the moment. And they should have been behind by 2. That was from right in front. I actually can't believe that he missed it, Nicho Hines. Jerome Hughes puts on some footwork, nearly gets through. He's dragged down. Desperation tackle by Finucane. 5th and last. Grant runs it. Throws a forward pass across the face of his own players. And it's called a knock on by Nick Meaney. You could have called anything there. Forward pass by Harry Grant. Knock on by Nick Meaney. Take your pick. Take your pick there. One or the other. James says, I watched the most funniest video last night. And then posted a link. Who's winning the cricket tonight, says Farsi. Who cares? Sorry, I know New Zealand won the last. Sofa Talakai with the most ridiculous offload you will ever see in your entire life. What was he thinking, the Sofa? And he's just handed the ball back to Melbourne. Inside the 20-metre zone. Oh, that was the height of stupidity by the big Sofa. A big body, but no brain in there anywhere, apparently. The big lump of wood. Munster kicks on the first, and Katoa is back. And speaking of no brains, you have to wonder what Cameron Munster was thinking there. Kicking on tackle 1, straight down the gullet of the winger. Big defence put on Matt Moylan. The Sharks, 2 tackles, they've gone nowhere. They're stuck inside their own 10. A good run forward here from Mulatalo. Brayley from dummy half, drawing in defenders. Hines keeps it alive, and it's a terrible pass from Nicho Hines. And Talakai, that's not his fault to drop that. But here go the Storm. They're going to cruise over in the corner. Will Warbrick to score. And that's on the back of a Nicho Hines mistake coming out of territory. That is all Nicho Hines. I'm afraid that in the first 17 minutes here, he has just played Mitchell Moses into the State of Origin number 7 jersey. This has been a disaster here in Melbourne for Nicho Hines. What the hell was this? What was this pass? It was terrible. Far too out in front of big Sofa Talakai. And then it's an easy 3-on-2 out to the right. Simple draw and pass off the back of the mistake. And that is a gift 4-pointer for Melbourne. An absolute gift presented by Nicho Hines on a silver platter. He said, here, I used to play for you guys. Have 4 points. I would like to say thank you for my time here. 4 points to you. And Nicho Hines, I said it after Origin. He was thrown into the Wolves. Poor Nicho was fed to the Wolves. Out of position for 10 minutes in Origin. Out of position where he's never played before. What effect was that going to have on his confidence moving forward? His confidence has been shot to pieces. The poor guy. He was on a hiding to nothing, being thrown into the centres at Origin level where he's never played before. And he has not come out the other end looking good. As Nick Meaney pushes the conversion past the near upright. 10 points to 6 it remains. But you've got to feel sorry for the guy. He was on a hiding to nothing in Origin. Out of position. He's never played centre before in his life. And he was thrown out there to play centre inside the last 10 minutes with New South Wales holding onto a slender lead. And Cameron Munster just tore him apart. Cameron Munster picked him out. They used to play together. He obviously knows a bit about Nico's game, and he just picked him out. Whereas New South Wales did not even attempt to pick out Queensland's out-of-position players for that entire last 10 minutes. And now Nick Meaney breaks upfield, shrugs away from a couple of tackles. They've got them skinned on the outside again. Oh, but Nelson cuts back infield. Oh, they had the overlap again to the right, but Nelson runs on his own. Nelson's got the Teddy Tedesco superglue on the hands. But the meters here, the meters that the Storm are chewing up. Tackle 4, they're 40 out from the Sharks line again already. Karma Chameleon backs into the defense. 5th and last, they're 30 out. Attacking kick again. 70 meters they've marched upfield, whereas the Sharks are only moving about 20 or 30 every set of 6. Great take from Kennedy, but look at where the Sharks are starting again. This set of 6, 5 out from their own line. There's only 5 players for the Sharks back behind the ball. This has been energy sapping. Should Warbrick have stuck with Union as Hines now tries to skip on the outside. Throws a pass back inside to Jerome Hughes. Nico Hines is shitting the bed epically here today. He is actually playing himself out of the Origin squad, let alone the starting halfback role. You could not pick Nico Hines in your squad on the back of this performance. When the pressure is on, he folds. It's that simple. When the pressure's on, he has a proven history now of folding. The finals last year, Origin, although he's got the excuse of being out of position, he was completely absent against the Broncos the other week, and he's having the worst game I've ever seen a rugby league player have today. Warbrick's up, takes it on the 5th and last. He's centimetres short. And Craig Bellamy does not look happy for some reason. Should Farsi ask, should Warbrick have stuck with Union? I don't think so. He's doing extremely well, isn't he? He has turned into an absolute rugby league machine out there on the wing. Whereas I couldn't have told you who he was. I didn't even know that he came from rugby union. And Nico Hines now, he's trying to overplay his hand. The offload to Katoa's gone behind him. It's called a knock on. Nico Hines is having a goddamn nightmare. He needs to be hooked. He's now trying too hard. He is now trying too hard is what's happening. He's made a few mistakes early. He is now trying way too hard to make amends. And he's just making it worse. I mean, the poor guy, you've got to feel sorry for him. He's just making his own situation 100 times worse here. Since the 15th minute, the Sharks have failed to complete a set. Since the 15th minute. So the past 7 minutes, the Sharks have not completed a single set. That is very telling. And here the Storm get to start this set 20 metres out. Hughes out the back to Munster. Oh, bobbling the ball at the back there. Number 19. I don't know who that is. Number 19 for the Storm is... The game will be over by the time I find this. Seve, Marion Seve. Big Nelson breaks through. Oh, he's nearly there. He's tripped over. 5th and last. Storm, they're a metre out again. Blindside they go. Hughes, cut out pass. Step in field. Smith can't get there. But look at where the Sharks are starting again. A metre out from their own line. Talakai is held up and driven backwards. Oh, the Storm are here to play. I said it last week. I would not want to be the team coming up against Melbourne after that horrible performance they put up against the Cowboys. They don't have 2 bad performances in a row very often, so I feared for the team that was coming up against them next. And then I found out the team coming up against them next, was the Sharks. I was very disappointed. Forced to kick on the third tackle from inside the 20. Hines straight down the throat of Nick Meaney, and Nick Meaney returns it with interest. He finds Matt Moylan and runs straight over the top of him, and the Storm start this set inside Sharks territory again. Oh, the pressure that's on. They just need to hold on here, Cronulla. 16 and a half minutes if they can get to the halftime break, limiting the damage. That's going to be the key here. Write this half off already. They're trying too much. They just need to reset and reload. If they can just hold on without any more damage being done. Grant to Kama Chameleon. Back to Grant. Harry Grant spots the gap and dives over and scores. Oh, this is an absolute shellacking. Melbourne are back. Questions were asked about them after the Cowboys game last week, and they've answered them inside the first 30 minutes here, and they have put this game to bed. And poor Nico Hines, he's just trying to overplay his hand now. A couple of early mistakes, and you can just tell he's pushing that pass. He's trying to find that miracle play. He's kicking on the third tackle when the opposition already has their fullback dropped back, waiting for the kick. His decision-making has been appalling. His execution has been even worse. And you've got to feel sorry for the guy. He's only a young fella. And Brad Fittler and Brandy Alexander have absolutely killed a career, in my opinion. They have destroyed a potential superstar career in a young man, Nico Hines, by throwing him to the Wolves in centres at State of Origin level. They've absolutely ruined this man's career, and you've got to feel sorry for him. You really do. It's not his fault. I mean, today's his fault, but what I mean is Origin was not his fault. He was thrown to the Wolves, and it's now affecting his club game as well. They did the same to Mitchell Pearce, Michelle. Did he bounce back? $16-6. Melbourne have won this game inside the first 30 minutes, as I thought they would, to be honest. As I thought they would. Bouncing back from a terrible performance against the Cowboys. And, yeah, Mitch Moses has just been played into the Blues number 7 jersey here today. It's that simple. Welsh off the kickoff. It's a long way back now for the Sharks. It's just been all too easy here for Melbourne. Just chewing up meters. I would love to see the stats. So 60% possession in favour of the Storm. 92% completion rate to the Sharks, 63. 63% completion rate is not even going to win you a reserve grade match. 605 running meters to the Sharks, 360. 2 line breaks to nil. 43.21 average set meters by the Storm to 32.74 by the Sharks. 79 total passes to 48. They're throwing the ball around. They're making meters. They're eating it up. Will Kennedy trying to turn things around for his team. He's the only guy trying at the moment. Driven backwards in the tackle, Mulatalo. Big hit. 13 and a half to go till halftime. The Sharks just need to get there. They need to get there. They need to sit down. They need the boot up them. They need Fitzy's boot. Square up where the sun don't shine. Brayley from dummy half, up over halfway. This is the first time now the Sharks have had the ball inside Storm territory for about 15 minutes. Hines just pumps it into the corner. It's taken under no pressure by Coates. And he runs back midfield, taking the tackle. But the way that they're chewing up meters here, the Storm, again, a 15, 20-meter run. Moylan goes for the one-on-one strip. Hilarity ensues. Watching that. Matt Moylan trying to strip the ball off Will Warbrick. Hughes steps inside, takes on Moylan. He's being targeted. Matty Moylan, he's being targeted. Grant from dummy half spots some more space. Remus Smith juggles, pulls the ball back in. Fifth and last, look at where the Storm are again. Another 70-metre, 60-metre gain off that set. And it's another attacking kick from Munster. Runs it to the line. Some lazy defence here. Pressure on Katoa. Oh, pressure on Katoa. Coates has taken it and throws it out to Munster, who drops the ball. Cameron Munster has dropped the ball with the line wide open. Xavier Coates up over the top of Katoa, popping the ball back. Munster just has to catch this and fall over the line. Oh, they got in each other's way there. Two Storm players going for the ball has saved the day there for the Sharks. Here we go. Sharks record against top 8 teams. 0 from 5 this year. 4 from 7. Oh, or is that 4? 0 wins, 5 losses. 4 wins, 7 losses last year. Stuck inside their own half again after that set of 6, the Sharks. And again, Hines picks out the throat of the fullback. And Meaney can bring it back. He can line up his options. They can just pick and choose what they want to do here. Dominating this performance so far. The meters that they're chewing up. Vobsy, ahoy mate. Look at the meters here. They're already up 40 out from the Sharks line on tackle for. They are just destroying them here. Destroying them. 35 tackles to 10 inside opposition half. Storm as Meaney spots a gap. Brushes away from the tackles. Meaney, 5th and last, 10 metres out. Look at where they are. My God. 83 metres. Grant spots a gap and goes for another try. He's held up over the line. Harry Grant. Will Kennedy's got himself under there. Harry Grant's claiming it, but I think he's telling porky pies of epic proportions here. Because unless Will Kennedy's got a gigantic donut-shaped hole in the middle of his sternum, then there's no way that Harry Grant got that ball down. Kennedy's got himself there under the ball. Oh, well, there's the ball on the ground, actually. Harry Grant actually does not have the ball up around his chest. He's got it there. It's in between Kennedy's legs. It's a third testicle in between Kennedy's legs, and this is a try. This is a try for Melbourne. 20 points to 6, kick to come, and they are, as expected, just wiping the floor with the Sharks here today. Just absolutely wiping the floor with them. And the Sharks will really struggle here to stay on the top 8. The Sharks will really, really struggle to make the 8 here this season. They have just been terrible. Terrible. $20 points to 6, kick to come. They're just allowed to offload at will. Meters at will. The Sharks' defense has been non-existent all season. And it's been exploited here today. UFC OnlyFans says best thing the Roosters did was get JWH to chuck a water bottle at that dude. And he's been hit Can you believe? Okay, the poor son of a bitch, Spencer Leniu, the poor son of a bitch. He's got a water bottle flung at him. He fires up about it, and he's the one that gets charged for misconduct. I couldn't believe when I read that. I really couldn't believe that. Spencer Leniu gets 2 misconduct charges against him for some jolly great galoot throwing a water bottle at him. Mind you, in fairness, I wouldn't have reacted the way that he did. I actually would have had a laugh. If JWH or anybody tossed a water bottle at me or sprayed water on me, I'd be like, what the hell? You cheeky bugger. I'll get you next time. I really do think it was a slight over-exaggeration by Spencer Leniu. But that being said, still, to get misconduct charges for having something done to you like that is a bit rough, I think. 2 of them. 2 misconduct charges. UFC OnlyFam says, do you think Meanie is really a meanie in real life? I don't think so. He looks like a real sweetheart, doesn't he? He's got that baby face, boy band sort of... Yeah, I think he's probably a bit of a sweetheart in real life. 5th and last hit, the Storm. The Sharks are finally going to get the ball. Kennedy, 22 points to 6. It's such a long way back now for the Sharks. 8 minutes to go till half-time. They are going to have a stern talking to in the sheds. This has been a performance to forget a couple of weeks in a row. They stunk up the joint against the Broncos the other week. They're stinking up the joint even worse here against the Storm. They're travelling backwards at a rate of knots here as Hines steps through the gap. Brayley's taken early in the tackle, surely. Moylan, cut out pass to Sofa. Sofa steps inside Smith and Hughes, and he's still going. He's picked up now by 3 defenders and taken down. Just a little bit of something there from the Sharks. Nikora to Ramian. This is where the play will die. Ramian's got the Teddy super glue, that's for sure. 5th and last. 30 out from the line. Back to Hines. The kick chase is better this time as well. There's an escort here, surely. And they get away with it, the Storm. That, in my opinion, was the most obvious escort you will ever see. But I guess it was far enough off the ball to not really be an issue. Munster, dummies, almost gets through Nakora. 6.5 to go until the break. 16 points the difference. Sims with the hit up. And this is a better set of 6 defensively from the Sharks. 5th and last, and this is the first time I can recall Melbourne being stuck down their own end. Munster puts the kick down. Oh, it's a challenging ball. He lets it bounce, does Mulatalo. It bounces kindly. A little bit of luck there for the Sharks. And finally, they start a set of 6 now for the first time all game outside their own 10-metre line. But they've already just been completely outplayed here. The Storm showing their premiership credentials. The Sharks showing that they're going to struggle to stay in the 8 a couple of weeks in a row now. Hines to the line, out the back to Moylan. Moylan to Kennedy, runs it. Talakai has created space for Mulatalo. Mulatalo kicks. The chase is on. Mulatalo. And it's tapped backwards by Xavier Coates. Wins the race there. Coates outpacing Mulatalo. Tapping the ball dead. But there's a result for the Sharks. It only took 34.5 minutes. But they've finally fired a shot. I don't think they are better than this, Will, in all honesty. I mean, they really benefited last year from a decent draw. As the short dropout has been deemed to have gone the 10, and Melbourne come away with it, and the Sharks just stand around like a bunch of stunned mullets and watch Melbourne pick the ball up, and now give away a penalty for inside the 10. It just goes from bad to worse. Things are just going from bad to worse. When you think it can't get any more pathetic, they go and do something else that just ups the level. Unbelievable. No, in all honesty, Will, and I said at the top of the stream, I am the harshest critic of my own team. But I feel like last year they benefited from a pretty decent draw, much like the Cowboys did. The Cowboys and the Sharks, in my opinion, and I said it all last season as well, Cowboys and Sharks had no right to be 2 and 3 on the ladder. Absolutely no right. They both benefited from really, really soft draws. They really did. The Cowboys especially. The Cowboys had the softest. But the Sharks weren't that far behind, in all honesty. They really, really benefited from soft draws, and both teams pretty much went out limp-wristed in the finals, didn't they? They didn't belong there. They were just making up the numbers. And other teams have improved this season to the point where I don't think the Sharks can hide anymore, even behind a soft draw. They're being exposed this season. The cracks in the armour that were already there last season, but they got covered over, are being well and truly exposed this year. Hughes puts the crossfield kick in for Coates. Coates is up and takes it and scores. Xavier Coates scores. 26 points to 6. It should have been Sharks ball down the other end, but they all stood around like a bunch of stunned mullets watching the dropout go the 10 metres and bounce back into Melbourne hands. And one set of 6, they're making 60 to 80 metres every set of 6, the Storm. An attacking kick from 10 out. And Xavier Coates up there, Gazali. 26-6 kick to come. The nightmare continues. Try for Xavier Coates. Try for the Storm. It's going to be a long, long old day for the Sharks and Sharks supporters, but it's going to be a long old season. It's going to be a long old season for Sharks supporters. They will barely scrape into the 8 if they get there at all. And it's interesting, Will. It's interesting, Will, that I picked out the Cowboys and the Sharks as teams last year that certainly didn't belong in position 2 and 3. And it's interesting how terrible the Cowboys are this year and how terrible the Sharks are this year as well, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that's pretty telling. Farsi says, is a mullet a haircut? I don't think it is, because you don't really get your hair cut, do you? You just kind of let it grow. I mean, some people do purposely get it cut that way, though, to be fair. I think there's 2 types of mullet, in all honesty. There's a purposely cut mullet, but then there's other situations where if you just let your hair grow naturally, the back always grows faster than the front and sides. That's just, I don't know what the science is behind it, but that's just the way that it goes. The back always grows longer and quicker. So you can have a natural mullet, and I wouldn't call that a haircut because you haven't had your haircut. It's just grown that way. Is this making sense? I love how entertaining this game is, that this is our topic of conversation as well, by the way. James, I had 50. I had the Storm winning this quite comfortably. And here they go again, down the right-hand side. Space, numbers. Us, big Nusser. Nusser. Oh, God, I got so overexcited. I tripped over my own tongue. But Big Nas has just bottled that one. Big Nas has got the Teddy superglue for sure. He had 3 unmarked backs on the outside, decided to run on his own and cut back infield. It would have been another try there. It still might. Munster, flick pass out to Coates. Coates gets another try. It could be 50. It will be 50. It could be 60 or 70. Melbourne will be going into halftime 34 points to 6. The Sharks, this is just absolutely appalling. This is not even worthy of the wooden spoon by the Sharks. This is not even a wooden spoon performance. This is an NRL club. This is an NRL club against a schoolboy team. They're just not on the same planet. Cameron Munster, the double pump, takes on Nico Hines and beats him again. Munster made Hines his bitch at Origin. He's made him his bitch again here tonight. And the Melbourne Storm, they're just having a trial run. This is a training run for them. A practice game. This is an absolute practice game here for the Storm. Conversion successful, 34 points to 6. It was always going to be, you don't want to be coming up against the Melbourne Storm after they've had a really terrible performance. They don't usually have 2 of them in a row. 34 points to 6. Sheer, complete, and total domination in every single facet of the game. And where this game swung was the missed penalty goal. Remember, I think it was about, what was it? It was about 10 or so minutes into the game, maybe? Oh, maybe a little bit more. It was, maybe it was about 10 or 12 minutes into the game. Nico Hines, the penalty goal from in front. Scores were 6-all. Scores were 6-all. Sharks get a penalty. Nico Hines from right in front of the post hits the upright. It bounces back. Storm go down the other end and score. That was the turning point. It should have been 8 points to 6 in favour of the Sharks. Sharks ball. It stays 6-all. Storm get the ball, run the length of the field and score a try. And it was just from bad to worse in every scenario from that moment on. Shack of Hearts, ahoy, mate. How are you doing? Halftime here. This game is over as a contest. I'll obviously stick around and call the second half, just because that's what happens. You make a commitment to call a game and you stick with it. Unlike some people, Michelle. Michelle walking out of the Origin when the Blues were losing, having a major dummy spit. Some of us are professionals, and we carry on calling the game, even if our teams are getting a prison-style shower bollocking. Wasted World of Sports here, though. Halftime, 34 points to 6 in favour of the Storm. I did predict the Storm to win quite comfortably, but I've got to be honest, I didn't think it would be this comfortable. This is ridiculously comfortable. And I will have myself a quick break, and we'll be right back for the second half. For what it's worth, it'll be interesting to see if the Melbourne Storm come out firing and just really put the knife in and twist it. They've already put the knife in, I suppose. Are they going to keep sticking the dagger in and twisting, or will they go to sleep a little bit? We'll see. Question time? Yes. feel free to fire questions away at me. I just have to have a quick break, rest the voice for a couple of minutes for half time, and I'll be back for all the second half action here. Wasted World of Sports. It's an annihilation here in Melbourne, Amy Park. G'day, Vobsy. Well, ahoy, Vobsy. This is a message from myself, Fletch, and the Wasted World of Sports. Just to let you know, mate, you've won back-to-back VIP titles, another $100 gift card. You've got to go collect your first one, actually. So, $200. Anyway, mate, well done. Congratulations. And ahoy, the Vobsy. See you, brother. Brad Thorne. Is it Brad Thorne? Brad Thorne, State of Origin legend. Brad Thorne, All Blacks legend. Brad Thorne single-handedly turned the Queensland Reds around with his coaching. It's Brad Thorne, isn't it? That was a good one. That was an easy one. I like that. I like easy trivia questions. Big, bad Brad Thorne. And he also played for the Kangaroos, interestingly enough. That's funny. Here's a trivia question. How many other players, and it could go either way. This is going to be a complex question in the way that I word it, and I apologize for that. So, Brad Thorne represented Australia in rugby league. He then represented New Zealand in rugby union, right? Okay. Have there been instances? I know that there have been. That's why I'm asking the question. What other players have done it one way or the other? So, has anybody represented the All Blacks in rugby union and then converted to rugby league and then gone on to represent Australia? Or vice versa? Who else has done a Brad Thorne and played rugby league for Australia and represented the All Blacks? Or has anybody represented New Zealand in rugby and then cross-coded and played for the Kangaroos? Huh? Now there's a question. That's what I call a trivia question. All right. I still haven't had my break yet. I'll be right back. How are you, Kelly? Ahoy, Kelly Edwards. I'll read your message properly when I come back. I've just got... Nelson, ahoy there. Nelson McGetty. Melbourne win 13 plus over the Sharks. Melbourne will win about 50 plus over the Sharks the way it's going, mate. Jesus Christ. Kelly Edwards says, okay, the game is rigged. Melbourne Storm allowed to slow ruck down, always offside. and get all the calls from the refs. This is why people are walking away from the game. The game is rigged, okay? I got one word wrong. Chuggy, you just hate the truth. What did Chuggy do? Can I just ask what Chuggy said? Why is Kelly having to go at Chuggy? But no, unfortunately, Kelly, look, I'm a Sharks supporter. I can prove it. I've got my jersey here, my old New South Wales Rugby League Reebok Sharks jersey. The Sharks have just been terrible. The Sharks have just been abysmal. This has had nothing to do with rigged, nothing to do with favoritism. This is just a team that has not showed up to play the game, and they're having their pants pulled down. It's really that simple. I wish I could agree with you. It'd be so easy to go, okay, well, what's the excuse for this absolute man-shaming? Oh, the game's rigged. I wish it was, because then it's easily explained away. Unfortunately, though, they've just been terrible. It's been a terrible, terrible performance. 2 weeks in a row now from the Sharks. They were terrible against the Broncos. They've been even worse here tonight against the Storm. The Storm had an off week last week. They were really, really desperate to bounce back, and they've bounced back, and the Sharks have not. James asks how many people tipped the Sharks in the tipping, Dan. Probably none. I can't imagine that anyone would have. This was never a game that they were going to win. Aiden Russell, ahoy! I never imagined in a million years the Sharks were going to win this game. I thought they might have put up a little bit of an effort, though, in fairness. Oh, look, Vobsy, the Roosters are still going to be there. I can't say the same for the Sharks. Roosters are definitely still going to be in the top 8. I can't say the same for the Sharks. Not me, Will. Not me. I was at the Storm performance last week against the Cowboys actually sealed it for me that the Sharks weren't going to win, because the Storm don't play 2 bad games back to back. They were always going to come out firing at home. It was that simple. Whereas the Sharks, they were terrible against the Broncos. Awful. Like, no redeeming. There was absolutely no redeeming statistic or quality or anything. There was nothing to take away from that Broncos game. And they've backed it up with an even worse performance here tonight. So, yeah, I can only imagine that the people who were believing after last week don't really follow the game as closely as some other people, in my opinion. Farsi says, I cannot think of any All Blacks that have played for the Kangaroos. Oh, Vobsy, you missed your tips. Oh, so you've gone for the Sharks. Okay. I didn't tip the Sharks. I had the Storm winning this by about 18. Will says, you're on the money. How's your tipping going? I'm in the top 10. I think I'm 7th out of the 70-odd that we've got in the competition. Yeah, I was 2nd until the Tigers did me dirty against the Titans. I tipped the Tigers to beat the Titans, and I dropped from 2nd to like 7th or 8th. But I'm still inside the top 10, so I'm still in it. I'm still hanging in there. Farsi says, I'd like Ramian to score for $50. I would like any of my... Hang on. I would like any of my tips to score. So far, nobody has. Munster's got a try assist, but I want him to get a try. McInnes had a try assist. Mulatalo's got a try assist. I'm doing well for picking try assists. Seriously, 3 out of the 4 on my list there have a try assist in this game. How crazy is that? 3 out of the 4 that I picked there have a try assist. But not tries of their own. All right, teams are coming back out for the second half. For what it's worth, stranger things have happened. All I need is for both teams to score a try, and I'll win my bet. If both teams score a try with some of the people I've picked to score a try, that would be nice as well. That'd be a nice little bonus. 63% possession to 37%. Absolutely incredible. 904 run meters to 487. The Storm have just blown them to pieces in every single facet of the game. Farsi says, should the Sharks take the 2 down? Absolutely. Forget about the game. The game's done. The game is gone. Start thinking about for and against. Absolutely. Take the points when they're on offer. You're not going to win. Just limit the damage. Take all the points that you can possibly get. That would be my tactic, because for and against is going to be very important for teams like the Sharks. The Sharks, the Warriors, Broncos, Raiders. And now the kickoff bounces over the dead ball line. Brayley stands back and watches it. Fails to catch the ball. And the second half starts much the same as the Sharks have been throughout the first half. And this is just a comedy of errors. The kickoff has gone over the posts. 2 points, that should be. And they're offside there, the Storm, if that's touched the Storm player. They've got away with that one, I think, the Storm. Harry Grant's played it to nobody. And there is a gift back to the Sharks. Oh, Brayley has just been saved. Some embarrassment. Harry Grant has got up and played the ball to the invisible man. And a comedy of errors from both teams to start the second half. Wow. If by some minor miracle, well, it's not even a minor miracle at this point, if by some major act of the footy gods, Cronulla get themselves back into this game, how crucial will that be? Harry Grant playing the ball to the invisible man. I mean, it's not going to happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even suggesting for 1 second that it's possible. But, geez, what a moment that could have been. You thought that the Sharks had made the biggest comedic mistake of the game. I think, in all honesty, Will, I think that probably everyone was standing around going, I can't believe what's just happened. Is any of this reality right now? And all the players were a little bit stunned. Everyone was just a little bit stunned and gone, this can't be happening, right? This isn't real. We're waiting to be told to wake up. Wake up. Everyone, wake up. But Melbourne have marched 50 metres upfield again. They've let it bounce here, the Sharks, and a kind one for Mulatalo. Oh, that's dangerous. They are just letting those high balls bounce. That is just dangerous stuff. You are inviting a nightmare of a scenario into the equation when you do that. Talakai's had a night to forget. Hines has had a bloody fortnight to forget. The poor guy. Nico Hines has played himself completely out of the Origin squad tonight. McInnes, dummies, goes on his own. He's got Nakore in support. Nakore gets away, has Kennedy in support. Kennedy, dummies, goes on his own. Will Kennedy takes on Nick Meaney, and Nick Meaney with a try-saving tackle. Katoa gets the ball back and plants it down, but this has been ruled into touch. Nick Meaney with a try-saving tackle. Nick Meaney, Scott Sattler style, takes down Will Kennedy, his opposite number. And there is the foot on the line, and Melbourne, Nick Meaney take a bow, and not only that, but Sione Katoa is busted in back play. Nick Meaney, unbelievable effort. Oh, the Melbourne Storm. You think they're done? You think they're not a premiership threat with all the players that they had? All the players that they've had retire over the years? Yeah. Not a chance. Not with Craig Bellamy in charge. Craig Bellamy's going to get them. Oh, there's a... That's way too close to Will Kennedy's ass that I ever hoped to be. But yeah, Melbourne Storm. Unbelievable. Take a bow. Now Grant Dummies goes on his own. Chewing up meters again. Where is the Sharks' defense? Non-existent. Completely non-existent. Grant kicks on the fourth. In behind Kennedy. The difference. Look at this. It finds the grass. It bounces into the end goal. And he's taken in goal, and this is a result for the Storm. Oh, it's boys against men at the moment. The Sharks are having their pants pulled down, and they're not being allowed to pull them back up again. And all the Storm players are standing around laughing at the Sharks in their underwear. Pants around their ankles. In front of an entire stadium here at Amy Park. The short dropout's not even close to going the 10. And this will be a gift 2-pointer to Melbourne if they want to take it. And Nico Hines, his night goes from bad to worse. The poor guy looks like he's about to cry. It's just going from bad to worse for Nico. It's gone from bad to worse for the Sharks. Take the 2. A try-saving Scott Sattler-esque tackle from Nick Meaney. And the Storm are just too good. Melbourne, Craig Bellamy finds a way. Players leave. The Storm... What the hell? The Storm were decimated by the Dolphins. Even I questioned it. I said when the Dolphins came into this competition, and we joke, we laugh about it. We have a joke about it. We have a joke about the Queensland Storm. The Queensland Storm. They're a Queensland team. We joke about it. We like to have a laugh about it. When the Dolphins came into the competition, the very first thing I said is the Melbourne Storm are going to get pillaged of all their Queensland players. And it happened, but Melbourne being Melbourne, they found a way, didn't they? Well, they sort of turned themselves into the New Zealand Storm, didn't they? In many respects. In many respects, the Queensland Storm joke is very outdated, and they're, apart from Munster and Grant and that, they're essentially the New Zealand Storm, aren't they? They basically said, okay, the Dolphins are coming in and they're pillaging our feeder club. No worries, we'll take from New Zealand. They're essentially the New Zealand Storm now, and they've they've stayed up. They've stayed up in premiership contention, haven't they? And they have stamped their authority tonight. I would say after this weekend, pressure on Kennedy there. So I would actually say that after this weekend, we've got Panthers, Daylight in second, Storm, because the Sharks are not this bad. The Sharks are terrible. Don't get me wrong. The Sharks are terrible. I don't mind admitting. The Sharks are god-awful. But they're not this bad. They're not 30 points behind at halftime bad. But Farsi, the Rabbits scored those 18 points in 3 minutes when the Dragons had well and truly already had the game won and gone to sleep. Let's not forget that either. The Dragons completely went to sleep. That last 3 minutes was a complete and total aberration. You can't read anything into that last three. The Dragons had, and it happens all the time, when a team is so far ahead and they know they've got the game won, they fall asleep. The Dragons well and truly fell asleep, and they nearly fell asleep a little bit too early. There is absolutely nothing to read into that last 3 minutes of the Rabbitohs-Dragons game. It's the other 77 that should concern Rabbitohs supporters, in my opinion. The previous 77 is what was the big concern. Lost forward there from Grant. It's not called. Oh, that's a gigantic knock on, and it's not been called. Fifth and last, Munster will get the kick away. Pressure on Mulatalo. Or is that Katoa back there? It's Katoa. And the Sharks. The only shining lights come out of this second half so far is they haven't... No, sorry, Farsi. I disagree. When a team falls asleep... Yeah, they fall asleep. I mean, that's just... You see it time and time again. I'm sorry, I just can't get on board with the Rabbitohs. That last 3 minutes was there's absolutely nothing to take out of that, I'm afraid. The Dragons had the game won. They knew it. They were already in the sheds. They were in the sheds, they were showered, they were dressed and ready to go home. It's as simple as that. Oh, Talakai loses the ball. And this one is called. Oh my God, so that one's called a knock on, but Harry Grant's wasn't. Okay. Kelly might not be actually that far wrong. Kelly was in earlier saying that this is rigged and the Storm are getting all the calls. Well, I don't believe it's rigged, but the Storm are getting all the calls. Harry Grant blatantly knocks the ball on. Talakai drops this and regathers it, and it's called a knock on. He's regathered the ball, Talakai. Harry Grant. Harry Grant drops the ball forward, throws it forward, gets away with it. Titans went asleep and conceded 40 plus. What, against the Rabbitohs? Well, I'm sorry, but the Titans aren't exactly a shining beacon of setting a standard. Shakafar says, Dan, to your point, straight through, go the Storm, and here's a try in the corner, incoming, 40 points to 6, kick to come. Oh, it's an annihilation here. Straight through they go. Josh King scores the try. And he has outgunned Will Kennedy on the outside. Blitzed him. Oh, Melbourne. Panthers Melbourne grand final. It's happening. The Melbourne Storm, they got their wake-up call last weekend against the Cowboys. It is a Panthers Storm Grand Final 2023. Get yourself ready. Get yourself ready. You heard it here first. 11th of the 6th, 2023, 5:22 p.m. Storm Panthers Grand Final. It's happening. This has just been immense. Like, the Sharks have been terrible, but, I mean, this has just been immaculate from the Storm. The only two teams that have looked solid this weekend, Panthers, Storm. Origin period is what always separates the men from the boys. And the men have certainly stood up this weekend. Panthers and Storm, dominant performances. So anyways, Shack of Hearts says, Dan, to your point, in terms of if the Storm would pick up where they left off or run into a roadblock, it seems the latter has been true so far. Well, I mean, you were correct, Shack of Hearts. You were actually correct up until that point. They weren't really going anywhere here in the second half. Cade Nolan, ahoy there. Welcome along. It's all right, mate. Are you talking about the Sharks? I'm a Sharks supporter as well. But I mean, let's face it, we were never winning this game. Even before kickoff, we were never winning this game. Check this out, Cade. Check this out, mate. New South Wales Rugby League original Reebok sponsored Sharks jersey from the old Andrew Eddinghausen, Mark McGaw, Mitch Healy days. Well, actually, this was after Mark McGaw. Mark McGaw had already retired. That was Andrew Eddinghausen, Mitch Healy, David Peachy. Hines takes it to the line. Nakora out to Katoa. Katoa flicks it back in field. Hines, it goes through his legs, tunnel ball style. And then it's dived on by the Storm. And it is just not happening at all for the Sharks today. And a penalty to boot, just to add insult to injury. A penalty for diving on the player and holding down. And every time the Sharks look likely, they do something stupid and gift territory back to the Storm. The Storm are just playing with so much enthusiasm, so much intent. They're ahead by 36 points, for Christ's sake. They don't need to be playing like this, but they are. And that is the definition of a premiership credentialed team. They don't need to be playing like this, but they are. Cade Nolan says we could win in round 17. Round 17. Wow. Okay, so what, another loss coming up next week, or have we got the bye? Have we got the bye in round 16? Oh, no, we got the Bulldogs next week. Should win that one. Bulldogs at home. We should win round 16. Round 17 is... Oh, do we have the bye in round 17? We'll definitely win that one. Yeah. Definitely got the 2 points incoming in round 17. Storm on the attack again. Grant has knocked the ball on again, surely. And this one is actually called. This one's actually called. I'm sorry, but Harry Grant knocked the ball on clearly a few sets ago, and it wasn't called. And that Talakai did not knock the ball on, but he was called. It's certainly not going their way. Shack of Hearts says, Dan, I should let you know the Sharks get Toby Rudolph back in week 17 or 18. Oh, fantastic. That should be... Toby Rudolph will be good for another 5 or 6 errors per game. Nice. Speaking of errors, here's another mistake. A forward pass called Brayley to McInnes from dummy half. He did the double pump and ran it a little bit too close to the line. A forward pass is called, and the Storm will have the ball back here. There is 24 minutes to go. There is still 24 minutes to go. 36 points the difference. And the Storm start the set 30 metres out from the line. This has just been a horrible performance by every metric. Every single way that you can spin this game has just been awful for the Sharks. Offload by Seve. The offloads are falling. See, those cheeky little offloads by the Sharks are going to Melbourne hands. Melbourne's cheeky little offloads are going to ground and bouncing up for Melbourne players. Six again for a ruck infringement. And then lost forward. They may as well challenge it. Why not? They're so far ahead. They may as well challenge it. Why not? Fitzy, that's not water in that bottle. That's straight vodka. And Fitzy's wondering where he went wrong in life. I should have stayed at the Roosters. It's what he's thinking. Fitzy's really shown himself to not be a head coach. He should have stayed on at the Roosters and stuck with assisting, because he's really, really proven to be out of his depth as a head coach. The Sharks have gone backwards at a rate of knots the past 2 seasons under Fitzy, it must be said. Last year aside, where a very soft draw allowed us to come second on the table behind the Panthers. But we got found out in the finals, that's for sure. And we're being found out by everyone this year. And I'm afraid Fitzy... Can we have Flano back? Honestly, Fitzy can go back to the Roosters. Vobsy will be happy about that. Fitzy can go back and be the defensive coach for the Roosters, and we'll have Flano back. Fifth and last, Sharks put the ball high. Coates. No, it's not Coates. It's Warbrick. Big Will Warbrick marching forward, leaping into the air. Oh, the rugby union convert. I didn't even know who he was when he played rugby union, but he has come over to the league, NRL, and he's turned into a superstar for the Melbourne Storm. $36 points the difference, 21 minutes to go. There is still plenty of time for Melbourne to rack up 60 or 70 odd here. They're still chewing up meters at will. Quick play the ball. Munster down the blind side. Runs to the line. He's got Seve. Oh, that's going to be 6 again. Oh, it just keeps going their way. And now Hines is there for the intercept to save the day for the Sharks. Shack of Heart says Will Warbrick was an Olympic silver medalist with the All Blacks Sevens in 2021. Oh, there you go. Okay. A Sevens rugby player. That's why I don't know who he is, because I don't watch the Sevens. Honestly, the Sevens bore me to tears, in all honesty. Absolutely bores me to tears, does the rugby Sevens. There's just too much of it. It should be a one-off competition, not a year-long tournament. Fifth and last here, Sharks. They're 20 out from the line. Hines runs it. Crossfield kick. Oh, it's a terrible kick. It's straight down the throat of Xavier Coates. Coates breaks away from Katoa, and he's still going. Meters to be made here. I've got to take the tick off the Sharks there. We've got Melbourne. Melbourne have scored a try each half. The Sharks are not looking likely here in the second half, though, to score a try. Much like the Roosters the other night, the Sharks have just been deflated to the point of offering nothing. Melbourne getting the offloads away. And again, here's some space down the right-hand side. bumping away from Moylan. He comes back at him, and he brings him down on tackle 4. But they're back inside Sharks territory. And now, a penalty. Moylan, he doesn't roll away, the great big goof. He doesn't roll away. He just lays there in the play the ball area. Of course, that's going to be a penalty. You great galoot. He just laid there. Unbelievable. He laid there like a beached whale. Just roll out of the way, for Christ's sake. More pressure. Here goes Munster. Grant looking for a hat trick. Offload. Oh, it's a terrible offload from Harry Grant. Terrible offload. Wade Graham's there to dive on it. And they're up way too quick there, the Storm. Some push and shove in back play. All right, good opportunity to have a quick break while the referee separates these two teams.
Touch finder. Let's see what Cronulla have in this set. Rainey will take the first one, running straight to Cameron Munster. Aggressively. Right. Turn but not pass. Tackles down. Drifts around right side. And kicks early.
A kick on the second. Oh, they've made a mistake. Hines gets the 6 again. Is over the line, but he's driven backwards. Oh, the Sharks, can they score here? Well, that's got to be a penalty. They're crowding the play the ball area here. Can the Sharks at least get a consolation try here and win me my bet? Hines was over the line, but he was driven backwards just to continue his nightmare of a night. Hines, cut out pass. Does it bounce up? No, it's touched. And it falls for the Storm, and Munster's away upfield. Oh, jeez, it is just not happening in any capacity for the Sharks tonight. Nothing is working out for them at all. This has just been diabolical. Diabolical. This whole performance, diabolical. It's the only way to describe it. They had a full set of 6, 10 metres out from the line for the first time all game, and that is what they tossed up. That was the effort that they tossed up. Complete, utter, total dross. Terrible. No redeeming features at all. Nico Hines is honestly... God bless him. He seems like a good kid. Oh, Big Nelson's going. He's still going, Nelson. And he's taken on the 5th and last. They're 5 metres out from the line. A goddamn gen, Melbourne. To the right-hand side they go. Hughes, cut out pass to Smith. And Remus Smith scores. Just like that. They've gone 90 metres upfield. They've gone 90 metres upfield to score. Oh, the Sharks are not worthy of a license for the NRL. Really. Get rid of them and bring the North Sydney Bears back. The Sharks are not worthy of an NRL license. Bring the North Sydney Bears back. Bring the Western Reds back. The Sharks are just occupying a license. A waste of time. A waste of space. They had a full set of 6 inside Melbourne's 10-metre line, and all they could come up with was throwing the ball straight to the white jerseys, straight to Cameron Munster, who breaks away upfield, and the Storm go 90 metres upfield to score. 46-6 kick to come. Take the license away from them. There's a more deserving team out there, surely. There has to be a more deserving team. worthy of an NRL license than this shambles of a team from the Shire. Just absolutely disgraceful. 46 points to 6, kick to come. Meaney from out wide to the right, moves in, strikes it, hooks this around nicely. He's had a couple of practice shots. This one's over. 48 points to 6. The Sharks, with 13 minutes left on the clock, are 2 points away from their premiership being officially written off, because no team has ever given up 50 and gone on to win the premiership. I mean, I'd already written their premiership credentials off weeks ago, but it can become official tonight with 2 more points to the Storm. And they've got 14 minutes to do it. I dare say that they'll score a few more than 2 points, in all honesty. There'll be more than 2 points coming their way. And here we go. It falls for the Storm, and they're away. Everything's falling their way. It is just not... I mean, the Sharks have been terrible, but the bounce of the ball, everything has gone the Storm's way tonight. The bounce of the ball, the calls. Oh, they've got 74 on one out to the left, but Karma Chameleon can't get it out there. Welsh takes the hit up with the offload to Grant. It's touch footy stuff here. It's a training run for the Storm. It's a contact practice session. The Sharks are not going to win another game this season on the back of this. This has been awful, diabolical. Munster outright to Hughes. Cut out pass. Seve steps back in field. Fifth and last. They're 10 out from the line again. They've spent 90% of the game 10 metres out from the Sharks line. And Seve a bit slow to get up here. They're looking for a penalty, the Storm. Probably get one as well. Shack of Hearts asks, have the Sharks played the Panthers this year? Good question. I mean, they would have lost if they have, because they're no wins and now 6 losses after tonight. They're no wins and 6 losses against top 8 teams. So, yeah, they would have lost if they have. But, yeah, I'm actually not sure if they have or not. Jesus Christ. The Sharks playing the Panthers at the moment. Bloody hell, it could be 100. It could actually be 100 points put on them. They could legitimately have 100 put on them by the Panthers at the moment. Munster, the kick through. It's been played out by the Sharks. They're all offside. It's going to be a penalty to the Storm. No, it's a knock-on Sharks. And it's going to be another full set. The Sharks are challenging. Why wouldn't they? But, yeah, this is just they're on a hiding to nothing here with this challenge. They're basically, this is just, what's the word? There is absolutely no way they're winning this. Desperation. That's the word. Just desperation, this call for the captain's challenge. It's knocked forward here by Moylan. Oh, it's tapped back, actually, by Big Nelson. Maybe it's tapped back by Nelson. Maybe this isn't such a ridiculous challenge. Maybe this isn't such a ridiculous challenge after all. Oh, here we go. Here's where it comes off Wade Graham and loses it forward. Melbourne ball. Yeah, okay. It was a stupid challenge. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Yes, welcome to 5 minutes ago when you had... I know you were there because I saw your name in the chat. You had just said this game is balls, and we just ran over this statistic. So it's nice to know that you're actually listening. It's nice to know that you have me on, but you're actually like not listening at all, because we literally said that. Cade Nolan says Sharks aren't like this. They really suck today. Oh no, the Sharks are really like this. It's just they've finally come up against a team who's taken full advantage of all the deficiencies. Oh no, trust me, Cade. Trust me, mate. We've been like this for the past 2 or 3, 4 seasons. We've pretty much been this way since 2016. It's just the Storm have really taken full advantage of it tonight. Full advantage of it. But no, this has been the Sharks. Oh, there's 72 on one out to the left. And again, they don't go there, the Storm. Simple draw and pass was all that was needed. Or just go to ground and take a penalty. Oh, was it a penalty or a drop ball? Drop ball by Nick Meaney. 11 minutes to go. We've got 11 minutes for the Sharks to get a consolation try to win my bet. $11 minutes for the Sharks to bag themselves a consolation try and at least give me something to take out of this game. But yeah, the Sharks will struggle to make the 8 this season. All the other teams have improved. The Sharks have gone backwards. They will really struggle to hold on to a spot inside the top. I actually can't believe that they were inside the top 4 or 5 coming into this game. They're obviously not going to be there now. They'll fall below the Warriors. They'll fall below the Storm. They'll be down to 7th after this performance. And 7th, I think, is a little bit more fitting of where they belong. The Sharks, honestly. Yeah, this is a true indicator of where the Sharks are. I think they'll be about 7th spot on for and against after this game. Storm will go above them, and they'll fall below the Warriors on for and against, and that's a greater indication of where the Sharks actually are. They will really struggle to stay in the top 8 this year at the back end of the season. They really will. Fitzy's taken the team backwards at a rate of knots. I am not convinced of Craig Fitzgibbon's coaching credentials at all. We threw millions of dollars at Nico Hines, an unproven halfback. It's not entirely his fault, but he's pretty shit, isn't he? Ultimately, at the end of the day, he's pretty shithouse. We threw millions of dollars at an unproven coach in Fitzy, and he has now taken the team backwards at a rate of knots 2 seasons in a row. And both of them are tied up to long-term contracts. Fitzy and Hines are locked in for many years to come. There's going to be many years of disappointment for Sharks supporters incoming because we threw millions of dollars behind unproven people. And time has now told they're just not up to it. Hines is not up to it to lead a squad. Oh, and a dropped ball from Finucane. We brought Finucane in. We brought goddamn Dale Finucane in from the Storm to be the leader. And look at that. He just completely shat the bed. A simple dropped ball there. 8.5 minutes to go. 8.5 minutes to go. Uncontested. Simple dropped ball by our supposed leader, Dale Finucane, from the Storm system. And now here goes Jerome Hughes straight through to score under the post. Oh, it's a reserve grade drill. It's a training run. There's 50. There goes the Sharks as any premiership threat this season, as if they were anyway. But there they go officially. The 50 is up for the Storm. 9 minutes to go. 60 is still on the cards. It's just so easy. Munster to Hughes. Straight through some lazy defenders. What a complete and total pile of dross. The Sharks are not deserving of an NRL license after this performance. They shouldn't even be in the competition. This has just been terrible. This is Queensland Cup level stuff. Just completely diabolical.
And that attacking rush, the missed tackle count, goes past 40.
52 points to 40 missed tackles, for Christ's sake. 40 missed tackles for a top grade NRL club. 40 missed tackles.
Good defensively since Craig's not there. To miss 40 tackles is not good enough.
Shane Flanagan, for the love of God, please. Please, Flano, come back. Forget the Dragons. Don't take the Dragons job, please. Please, Flano. Shane Flanagan, for the love of Christ, please. Reach out to the Sharks management and throw your name into the hat. Fitzy can piss off to the Dragons. How about that? Craig Fitzgibbon, Dale Finucane, Cameron McInnes, Nico Hines, all these people that we supposedly brought in and paid top dollar for to turn this club around, sod them all off to the Dragons. Flanagan in. Luke Brooks is off contract. Can we have Luke Brooks? Luke Brooks is a better halfback than Nico Hines. Luke Brooks under Shane Flanagan could lead this club to a premiership again, for sure. The problem is, Shack of Hearts, they're just so deflated now, I think. I reckon they'll be so deflated now. I'll actually be tipping the Bulldogs next week. I can't imagine that Nico Hines is even in the conversation for the Origin squad now. I mean, he has surely tonight played himself out of the entire Origin squad, let alone starting halfback. But I'm tipping the Bulldogs next week. I am tipping the Bulldogs next week against the Sharks. Based on this performance, I mean, this was terrible. This was not up to first grade standard in the NRL. This is just nowhere near up to standard for the NRL. And Bulldogs will win next weekend if the Sharks serve up anything like this. I'm actually going in and I'm changing my tip. I always have my tips in a week in advance. I'm going Bulldogs now. Bulldogs will absolutely slaughter the Sharks on this performance. So I've gone in and I've changed my tip. I've switched over to the Bulldogs for next week because the Bulldogs aren't that bad. But the Sharks are truly terrible. Just truly terrible. And now a lost ball again. They're not even going to get a consolation try here to save my bet. They won't even get a consolation try inside the last 5 minutes. Another dropped ball. Another incomplete set. 54 points to 6. 4.5 to go. Diabolical doesn't even begin to describe it. I've used that word a lot tonight, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the diabolical. I mean, it's nowhere up to standard. It's just not even close to being up to standard. They don't belong in the NRL. It's that simple. Take the license off them and bring the North Sydney Bears back. Take the license off them, bring the North Sydney Bears back, or somebody who would play with a little bit of heart, a little bit of passion, have the basics down. Shane Flanagan can coach them. Give Flano the coaching role, bring the North Sydney Bears back, punt the Sharks out. They don't belong. The Sharks don't belong in the NRL. Diabolical. This has been an absolute disgrace. 4.5 minutes, though. They've got to steal a consolation try and win my bet. At the very least, they could do that for me. At the very least, they could win my bet for me. Tackle 2. 12 out. 6 again. A full set of 6. Hamlin ULA takes it 5 out from the line. 4 minutes. 4 minutes to get a consolation try and win my bet. Moylan gets away. Tries to go on his own. Tackle 2. They're a metre out. A horrible place to attack from. Short side they go. Mulatalo will score. There's my bet. There's my bet. Yes. Yes. There's my bet. It's a tick. Tick, 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 tick. At least I win some money in amongst this abortion of a performance from the Sharks. At the very least, I win some coin. James says, to add to your wounds, this is the 3rd biggest loss in Sharks history. I'm going out on a limb and saying the other 2 would be against the Storm, right?
Continue the conversation around Cronulla in big matches, and I just looked at numbers for their forward pack. I don't think there's many teams in the competition. They have 6 forwards.
And Nico Hines continues to shit the bed, pushing that conversion across the face of the post. Nico Hines has honestly, I mean, I said earlier, I am the harshest critic of my own team, right? I am the harshest critic of the Sharks. But honestly, Nico Hines has honestly played himself out of the Blues squad entirely. Forget about a conversation about him being the starting number 7. I mean, tonight he has just played himself out of the squad entirely, right? I'm not exaggerating the issue here, am I? Everyone else has seen this, yes? Everyone else has seen what I'm seeing. Nico Hines has played himself out of the Origin squad, let alone the starting halfback position, yes? Mitchell Moses has definitely become the front runner. He will have to step up tomorrow against the Bulldogs. It'll be so interesting to see what Mitchell Moses tosses up against the Bulldogs tomorrow. But Nico Hines has pretty much just played himself out of the squad entirely. Forget about conversations of him starting in the halfback role. There's now got to be questions about him even being in the 18. And it's incredible to think. You wouldn't have thought this a week ago, but Mitchell Moses is definitely the front runner right now. Mitchell Moses, it's his number 7 jersey to lose now. It is Mitch Moses' number 7 to lose. James says the other one was Broncos 62-0. Was I there? Was that at Lang Park? I was probably there that day. That seems really familiar. 62-0 seems really familiar. I might have been there for that game. Shakavar says, what did you think of Adam Reynolds' performance against the Knights? Well, the Broncos were god-awful, weren't they? They nearly lost. They were one fluke, more arse than class pass away from losing against the Knights. No, Adam Reynolds played himself out of contention as well. It's all over to Mitchell Moses now. It is all over to Mitch Moses. Adam Reynolds played himself out of contention. Nico Hines completely played himself out of the squad tonight. It's Mitchell Moses' jersey to lose now. Oh, penalty try here for the Storm. Penalty try. Oh no, Nikora, 10 in the bin. 10 in the sin bin for Nikora.
They'll probably take the 2 points, take the risk of injury out. Oh, and they're setting up the run shape. That's told to. It's there. So here we go. 12 on 12.
Yeah, honestly, Shack of Hearts, the Broncos escaped with murder last night against the Knights. You wouldn't have any of their players anywhere near the squad based on that. Karma Chameleon swiveling around. They're looking for 60 here, the Storm. 54's not good enough for them. They want the 60. Grant to Munster. Oh, it's passed out the back from Sims, and it's knocked on Storm. 22 seconds to go still. And the Sharks will just wind the clock down here. They don't want anything to do with this. They won't want anything to do with this, the Sharks. They just want the full-time whistle. Sharks supporters just want the full-time whistle. 54 points has been racked up. The premiership is gone. The Sharks, as if we didn't know already, they are just making up the numbers if they even get there this season. Craig Fitzgibbon has taken this team backwards so fast. A rate of knots. An absolute rate of knots that Fitzy's taken this team backwards. An assistant coach was given a buttload of money to become a head coach. Unproven, untested. And, he is really, really failing. Really he's taken this team backwards so fast. And that was a diabolical performance tonight. 54 points to 10. Absolutely unreal. Melbourne Storm have just stamped their premiership credentials. They are still well and truly a threat. Anyone who thought the Storm weren't going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the year, wake up. What a performance from them. You've got the Panthers, you've got Daylight. The Storm have now jumped up into second, in my opinion. They're not second on the ladder, but they have now jumped up to second as premiership favourites. It's the Panthers, it's Daylight. It's the Storm. The Roosters and the Eels will still be there. The Rabbitohs. Oh, I said this earlier, Vopsy. I said this earlier. You mustn't have been here, mate, for that conversation. Yeah, but I had that conversation. I said the Sharks came second. The Cowboys came third. Both teams, in all honesty, both teams had really, really soft draws. The Cowboys' draw was way softer than the Sharks, but the Sharks had a relatively easy draw as well. Both the Sharks and the Cowboys were gifted their second and third last year, and both teams went out pretty limp-wristed in the finals. They didn't belong there. They're both being found out this season, aren't they, as the other teams have improved. So, yeah, it's okay, Vopsy. It's okay. No harm done. I had this exact conversation in the first half. The Sharks were not. The Sharks were not second place last year. They were not. They were not worthy of second spot. The Cowboys were not worthy of third spot on the ladder. The Sharks will struggle to make the 8 this year. I think, in all honesty, what we've got is we've got the Panthers. We've got Daylight. We've probably even got some more Daylight, if we're being perfectly honest. But let's just say we've got the Panthers. We've got Daylight. We've got the Storm. Rabbitohs. Eels and the Roosters will still be there. Eels and Roosters will still be 4th or 5th by the end of the year. Don't you worry about that. Broncos in 6th. Maybe the Raiders or Manly in 7th. And then it's a huge contest for 8th spot. A huge contest. I reckon the Sharks finish about 10th. The Sharks and Cowboys are around about 9th and 10th. And it'll be the Dolphins, Warriors, Raiders. They'll be battling out for the 8th spot. So, Panthers, Storm, Rabbits, Roosters, Eels. Anybody's guess. And it's going to be a Panthers Storm grand final. Panthers Storm grand final. Panthers Storm grand final. Origin period is usually what separates the men from the boys, and the Panthers and the Storm are the two teams who really stood up this week and stamped their authority on the competition. Panthers Storm grand final. I say Panthers will beat the Bunnies in the preliminary final. Storm will beat the Roosters in the other prelim. Panthers Storm grand final. And the Panthers will get revenge for the Cameron Smith retirement fiesta that was a few years ago. All right, Wasted Water Sports. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. Unfortunately, it was a really disappointing game as far as a contest goes. Terrible as a contest goes. The big story here is the Nico Hines. Nico Hines completely played himself out of Origin conversation tonight. Nico Hines should not even be in the conversation for Origin. It shouldn't even be a topic. Mitchell Moses will now be the starting halfback for the Blues. My bet did get up, James. I'm happy about that. My bet did get up for both teams scoring 1+ try each half. I am happy about that. The bet did get up. That was good. But yeah, Nico Hines today officially just played himself completely out of the Origin squad. Mitchell Moses is now the front runner for the Blues number 7 jersey. I mean, it's his to lose now tomorrow. It is his to lose tomorrow. Mitch Moses. Who'd have thought? I mean, honestly, who would have thought that several weeks ago that we would be talking about Mitch Moses playing Origin? Unbelievable. But yeah, you cannot have, on the back of that performance, and last week as well, the past 2 weeks for the Sharks, led by Nico Hines, I'm afraid he can't be anywhere near conversation for Origin. He just can't be. He has successfully played himself out of all conversation this past fortnight, and he will be gone from the squad entirely, let alone starting halfback. Mitch Moses is now the front runner for the number 7 jersey, in my opinion. All right. Wasted Water Sports, thank you so much for joining me. It's been very nice to have your company, as always. I can't do the game tomorrow. I think the game tomorrow starts at 4, and I live in Queensland. We don't have the public holiday, you sons of bitches. You dirty sons of bitches in other states that have the public holiday. I do not. I have to go to work. God damn you all. So I won't be able to do the game tomorrow because by the time the game kicks off, I will still be working. I'll tell you what I might do, though. And this is no guarantee. This is no promise. But maybe, seeing how work goes, I might jump on for the second half. Maybe I could cover the second half. We'll see. But here in Queensland, I've got a goddamn work tomorrow. So to hell with you all in other states that have the public holiday. Thank you very much for joining us for this one. And, yeah, look, if I see you for the second half tomorrow, I do. Otherwise, catch you next time. Mr. Ed's Dead, ahoy there over on Twitch. My apologies. I didn't mean to ignore you earlier. I was just caught up in everything. And I'm glad that you just reminded me that you're there. So, Mr. Ed's Dead. Missed you on Intoxigamer last night too, buddy. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I will catch you next time. Until then, cheers.